Howdy. Believe it or not, there have been many spooky games over the years focused around the most non-spooky place in all of animated history, Bikini Bottom. They're generally affectionate games made by fans of the show, kind of like creepypastas. And when I looked around the internet, I was surprised how little they're talked about. They seem like a good laugh, so I decided to play them myself and talk about the 10 hilarious SpongeBob horror games. Also, if you happen to be one of the creators of these games, please don't take my riffing to heart. I'm only criticizing these games and certainly not you as a person. Thanks for bringing some laughs and entertainment to us. I hope you keep writing and making games and keep improving. Also, these games are all available to be played for free, so if you happen to be curious, I've linked them in the description. And just a heads up, I will not be including any jump scares in this video. That's not how I roll. I hate jump scares and I wouldn't subject you to one, even if you wanted me to. Anyway, let's start with number 10. Number 10. SpongeBob Slenderpants. That's right, SpongeBob is now Slenderman, aka Slenderpants. Well, points for creativity because I wasn't expecting that. This one is pretty straight to the point. For some reason, Patrick is out of the water, in a dark, spooky woods, completely isolated and alone. He's running through these woods, eating Krabby Patties for some reason, in the middle of the night. What? But we have to eat them all quickly, or Slenderpants will catch us. And that's about it, really. The animation and background is great at setting the atmosphere and building the tension, not just relying on cheap random jump scares. Much like Silent Hill, the game builds upon the dread and unknown within the dark. The graphics are certainly nothing to write home about though. We get your average default dirt, grass and trees from what I'm guessing is probably a starter Unity pack. And some Shell oil drums for some reason. Like, why is there literally a Shell logo on there? What does that have to do with anything here? Unless the Shell barrels are like a symbol for saying, this is the dark future that Bikini Bottom faces. If we continue to allow Shell to spill oil into the ocean, we'll get this dark Slenderpants SpongeBob. No, that's ridiculous. I'm giving it too much credit. Never mind. It's all very weird, but hey, at least it's not a Five Nights at Freddy's clone. Speaking of which. And for number 9... Five Nights at the Krabby Patty. Wow, I have to say, this is... Oh, wait, hold on. Wow, I have to say, this is a really well-made recreation of Five Nights at Freddy's. Except now, we're in a creepified version of the Krusty Krab. And the reason for this? Well, our new phone guy explains it to us each night.
Mr. Krabs simply staffed the kitchen here with animatronic replicas of his old employees and neighbors. Krabs isn't known to be the most trusting person, especially with his money and secret recipe. So, I guess it does make a bit of sense.
No, this is Patrick.
So, as per usual, there's some animatronics on the loose who are peachy keen to brutally murder us. Except now, they look like the major characters from SpongeBob. Okay. And despite me looking at Krabs and Squidward, the jump scares are still surprisingly effective. I jumped back in my seat when I saw them.
Oh, jeez.
Unfortunately, the game is still very glitchy and certainly has its share of problems. For example, it wasn't until the third night that I could actually get any animatronics to come into my office to spookify me. Look at Sandy here. I open the door for her, I turn the light on, she just won't come in. She just stood there and I'm like, hello Sandy, how are you? Thank you for not brutally murdering me. The nerve! When I play a Five Nights at Freddy's game, I expect to be brutally murdered by any animatronics on the scene. There are cameras to try and gather where the animatronics are at, but I found them all to be very poorly labeled, and I had no idea what one animatronic being on another camera actually meant. Does Patrick being in the storage mean he's about to jump scare me, or that he's hungry? I don't know. Does the animatronics being right in front of the camera mean they're about to come into my office? I couldn't figure it out. And it's a shame because clearly a lot of effort went into the 3D graphics on this. When I look at this setting, I feel a genuine feeling of foreboding and discomfort. It definitely feels dangerous, but it still feels a lot like the Krusty Krab. And I was actually quite impressed by the voice acting of the phone guy. For a fan game, I felt he gave a very convincing voice performance.
Hello again. How was your first night? I hope you didn't get too much trouble.
But hey, maybe you're more familiar with the Five Nights at Freddy's games than I am. So maybe you can figure out what cameras do what. I couldn't get past level 3 myself. And what's with the flashlight? The phone guy says the flashlight's meant to scare them off, but it didn't seem to discourage Squidward from going a boogly woogly whoa at me.
But we found that flashing a bright light into their eyes seems to fix any abnormal behavior.
You lie! You lie!
Number 8.
Oh, I was really close too.
SpongeBob's Day of Terror. There's something truly, deeply horrifying to this game. The same 3-second track plays over and over and over. Fortunately, the game is mercifully short. In Day of Terror, we return to the mysterious and notorious Rock Bottom. And once again, hats off to managing to get the atmosphere of this place right.
Boy, this place sure is creepy.
Just being in Rock Bottom, I found the setting really tense, and I kept waiting for something to jump scare me. There's also this familiar fellow with the balloon that just kind of flickers in and out of sight, seemingly stalking us. He looks very similar to the kid in the episode, though this version seems to want to haunt us. Here though, Spongy has a considerably easier time getting his ticket than he did in the original episode. Despite this being, a horror game, nothing's meant to go right. Seriously, I finished getting out of Rock Bottom in like 40 seconds.
Yay, I got it. Wow, that was short.
That was way too easy. This place should want to kill me. Basically, you wander around Rock Bottom picking up items that are worth some money. Then somehow SpongeBob trades these items in for a ticket. What? What is this, a pawn shop? You pick up your bus ticket and the bus does wait for you. I definitely remember it being tougher in the actual episode. Well, on the plus side, at least I actually managed to finish this one. I guess I'm not exactly looking for a 2-hour adventure when I jump into a horror fan game. But seriously? 40 seconds? Well, thanks at least for making your game straightforward and definitely to the point. And the 7 lucky 7?
Oh,
Around the clock at Bikini Bottom. Well, I do respect the creator's attempt to build a narrative here. We even get a tutorial and a pretty extensive look through Bikini Bottom.
Oh, that's great.
There is an impressive amount of effort here. Even the dialogue has small snippets of in-show voices, which really helps set the tone of the show. Plus, these fan voice impersonations are surprisingly impressive.
Right, you can stop now. Yeah, alright.
For a second here, I actually thought I was listening to the real Roger Bumpus. I'd say this is probably my favorite of the SpongeBob fan games. There's a lot of small details, like in the Jellyfish Fields, SpongeBob's still wearing Tom Kenny's glasses like he normally does. Though you may have by now noticed the major issue with this game. What is with these characters? They just look horrifying. Look at Spongy here. What happened to you, man? Patrick follows me around as I catch jellyfish, but I really don't want this face following me around. It's like a creepy stalker nightmare, Patrick. Ugh. The animation is definitely the game's biggest downfall. How did they manage to make this SpongeBob look creepier than Spongy Slenderpants? But overall, I would say this was my favorite of these fans' games to play. With solid platforming, very good voice acting, and a nice balanced tone that takes the time to build up its scares, I was very impressed. There's a full-on story to try out here, so if you are curious, I've linked it in the description. Don't be afraid. Number 6. The Krusty Cellar. The chocolate guy is waiting for us. Where? In the crusty basement. Of all the other games, I feel this probably gets the color scheme of SpongeBob as close as it could. Despite being a horror game, it still has that vibrant, energetic color of the SpongeBob world, while still being intimidating. The models look okay too. I'd almost say these characters would fit into the original battle for Bikini Bottom.
I proclaim that tomorrow is going to be the best day ever.
Unlike some of the other games, I don't feel like we're just in blank, dark, default spooky rooms. This legitimately feels like we're in the Krusty Krab cellar. I have to say though, I didn't find Krusty Cellar too scary. I mean, you just can't make the chocolate with nuts episode scary.
Yes, sir, we are chocolate bar salesmen.
couple of mediocre salesmen, if you ask me.
Anyway, basically the story is Krabs has left a secret formula in a chocolate bar, and it's somewhere down in the crusty cellar. So as we search to find it, we'll be confronted by Mary and her elderly mother. You might remember them from Chocolate with Nuts.
Chocolates! What? Chocolate! I can't hear you! They're selling chocolates! They're selling chocolate? Yeah!
Or are these meant to be the ghosts of Mary and her mother? They're certainly looking a little worse for wear. They just kind of stand there, staring at us. I tried to high-five Mary's mum, but I think she kind of killed me or something, because I had to restart the level. Maybe she was punishing me for not social distancing. Sorry, my fault. What is Mary and her mum so mad about anyway? In their original debut episode, Spongy and Patrick took them out to a really nice restaurant.
So, how long have you two ladies known each other?
I don't know, you'd think they'd at least be friends. When I finally found the chocolate, you might be able to guess who came out. Finally! I wish I could like anything as much as this guy likes chocolate. Like, he really likes chocolate. Unfortunately, I opened the door too slow and the chocolate guy caught me. All in all, I could have used a little bit more interaction than just running through basement hallways, but it's definitely got better models and better colors than most of the other fan games on this list. Good effort. Number 5. Mr. Krusty requires Souls of the Damned. Gee, it really would be nice if I could actually read the freaking story and objective. Why do all these games have this weird glitch of not showing me the full screen? Hopefully it's just my computer, and if you try these games you don't experience it yourself. So, sadly this one's definitely up there in terms of being garbage level effort. The game consists of controlling Krabs going down the same old boring corridors collecting Souls of the Damned. There's absolutely zero obstacles, zero objects, zero enemies, zero, zilch, nada, nothing. Though very occasionally you might be caught by Krabs who then jump scares you, then maybe eats you? Hang on, I thought I was playing Krabs. This is weird. I believe the game is based on a YouTube series called Mr. Krusty. It's, interesting?
I'm gonna be cursed by the power of Mr. Krusty.
Though my respects go to the editor for his exceptional voice pitching, shifting Mr. Krabs to sound really demonic.
I require Souls of the Damned.
Anyway, not much gameplay to be seen here beyond wandering empty brown corridors and some cheap random jump scares. Ah well, next game. And for number 4...
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
3 a.m. at the Krusty Krab. Well, I gotta say, this one wasn't as bad as I thought. I mean, my standards aren't very high with these games. It was short and basic, but hey, it was tense and I managed to finish it. Yay me! Once again, we play as Mr. Krabs. He's finishing up at the Krusty Krab. It's 3 a.m. and he's gotta gather his money from the register. He's also gotta gather up leftover Krabby Patties. He's also gotta check the toilet bin for pennies. Ew. And of course, he's got to lock up by collecting the key in the dark, infamous Krusty cellar. Because, you know, that's where you leave your key. Did I miss the episode where we established that Krabs has a massive cellar full of dark hallways and unspeakable horrors lurking about? What is this, a trapdoor? Anyway, we have to finish these tasks as quickly as possible and make it back to our office before the lights start to flicker and the hash-slinging slasher comes out to chop us into pieces. And once again, hats off for managing to make this guy at least a little creepy. While I didn't find the original hash-slinging slasher all that creepy, this guy had me checking every dark corner I turned, trying not to get jump scared and brutally slashed to pieces by him. My biggest complaint? The objectives flash up for half a second, way too fast for me to read them. And it's kind of important information. I've got a hash-slinging slasher trying to slash me to pieces here. And once again, I can't even read the full text that's on display here. How would you like it if I did that? Look at this text here. You can't actually read what's being said. How annoying is that? When the lights start to flicker, I have to what? That's kind of important information. I like that this game doesn't use too potent jump scares either. It still left me skittish and definitely not wanting to get caught, but I wasn't jumping out of my seat in surprise like in Five Nights at Freddy's. So to me, this SpongeBob horror game actually served its purpose. It got me tense and uncomfortable, carefully checking every corner of the game. Nice work, author. Overall, this one's okay. Number 3. Red Mist. Hey cool, a game based on Red Mist. Red Mist is basically a really popular Squidward creepypasta, and I actually think the setup for this one is pretty exciting, though very gruesome. Squidward apparently took his own life, and Patrick and SpongeBob have gone missing inside his house, which has apparently suddenly turned into a giant mansion of dark, spooky hallway. What?
Yes, makes sense. Good call, staff.
So we play as a police officer, exploring Squidward's suddenly ridiculously gigantic and boring mansion. No doubt, Red Mist Squidward is hanging around waiting for us. Well, let's start with the graphics. This is certainly not going to blow anyone away, but it does set the atmosphere well with the sound, and the color choices are okay. It certainly does feel very Red Mist. The hellish red mist filling the house was definitely a giveaway that Red Mist Squidward was hanging about. I think there's a few graphical glitches. Walls will kind of flicker in and out, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is an intentional effect. It makes some people feel uncertain and spooked, but personally for me, it just really annoys me. I hate flickering lights. Ugh. There's definitely a build-up as we find the decapitated leg of SpongeBob. Though, as we've seen in previous episodes, decapitation has never really been a big deal for SpongeBob. He's been known to decapitate himself and mold and warp his body all the time.
Or like this, or this, or this. But what about this, or this, or this, or this,
Except he wasn't a sponge.
So it was definitely hard to suspend my disbelief for this one. I guess SpongeBob's so invulnerable it's hard to put him in a horror setting. We've apparently got to find 7 items, such as Squidward's clarinet and SpongeBob's fishing net. Maybe these are meant to be physical evidence for criminal court. Messages and blood are scattered around the house, like he was wrong, stop, and SB129. I guess that's in reference to the episode of the same name. Also, I have to mention, this cop has the most pathetic running stamina I have ever seen. His pathetic stamina runs out in about 9 seconds and doesn't even recover. Any decent runner could jog through this basement 50 times over and still have some stamina left over for another dash. What, this guy get a 0.1 on the beep test? Sorry, I got carried away, just a personal gripe as a runner. Overall, in my opinion, this game's pretty lousy. It mostly has some cheap jump scares, poor graphics, and it feels far more like it's trying to be edgy than actually creative. But I guess that's part of the appeal of Red Mist Squidward, so hey, who am I to judge? Number 2. Mr. Krabs overdoses on ketamine. Also, disclaimer ahead, I'm certainly not condoning drug use at all. I would never do drugs myself, unless my doctor prescribed it. Anyway, this actually looks pretty good on the surface. It's like the gameplay of Grand Theft Auto 3, except we're Mr. Krabs, beating up citizens of Bikini Bottom. And for some reason, SpongeBob's a drug addict here who wants ketamine.
Please, Mr. Krabs, I need you to get my ketamine.
Unfortunately, the game is chock-a-block full of bugs and glitches. Mostly, I think this game has just been used as a tool for commentaries from the YouTube gaming community, as I haven't found any real reviews of it, or just general gameplay footage without someone ranting over top of it. But hey, as of this video, it now has a review right here. So I guess that makes us gaming pioneers. Yay us! Anyway, graphically I think it looks good, and I feel like there's so much potential here. Again, my standards aren't high on these games, so I'm mostly just happy to be playing a SpongeBob fan game that manages to keep Krabs walking without randomly crashing or, I don't know, trying to jump scare me. But probably my favorite part is this is a relatively accurate recreation of Battle for Bikini Bottom's town. Plus, I gotta say, I never thought I could get footage of Krabs going around the town of Bikini Bottom beating random people up. Though sadly, I couldn't find the 5th ketamine bottle, so I couldn't complete the game. I guess that's good though, since I'm not feeding SpongeBob's sudden drug habits. Hopefully he'll go into rehab. If you've always wanted a simulator of Krabs running around in a rampage, beating up Bikini Bottom residents while hunting for drugs, well, you have very specific and unique tastes. But a game has now been made for you. Your wish is granted.
Thank you so much, Mr. Krabs. Oh, you're a lifesaver.
And for number 1, Bob Esponja Horror. Oh, what do you know, a SpongeBob version of Five Nights at Freddy's again. This is not a very good SpongeBob game. In fact, it's abysmal. What do I even do here? I've pressed every button and can't figure out how to do anything except change camera. We start the game getting some blue Squidward static because Squidward equals scary now? I don't know. We then travel as SpongeBob across to the Krusty kitchen. Apparently Spongie's working at the grill at midnight, and every time it reaches 3 AM, Krabs will inevitably jump scare the poor Sponge. Though even then, it kinda just sounds like he's mildly annoyed. Yelling at us in Spanish? I don't know, that was the closest I could find.
Olá, eu gosto de dinheiro.
Maybe he's annoyed because SpongeBob's meant to be at home not working. Honestly, given the two of them, that seems like the most plausible situation here. I've got a mask, but it doesn't seem to do anything from discouraging Krabs from jump scaring us, so what's the point? The game doesn't let me cook, it doesn't give me any instructions, it just sits me in a badly drawn Krusty Krab kitchen and says, "Hey, it's nearly 3 AM, do something." What do? I'm not telling, ha ha. Oh, I tried as well. I replayed this stupid game like 9 times. I couldn't figure out anything. The only information I could find on this game was on the Markiplier wiki. The entire purpose of the page seemed to be to tell me Markiplier played this in 2018. Anyway, have you noticed an odd trend in these games of turning Krabs into an intimidating villain? I don't get why either. Are his claws too sharp, or is his pirate accent considered scary? In my opinion, this game fails on graphics, gameplay, sound, controls. It just fails on every level to impress.
Oh, I don't know how to play the game.
And with that, thank you for joining me on this journey through some spooky SpongeBob, horror games. And thank you to the creators of these games for giving us some laughs in a time where, well, I need all the smiles I can get right now. I hope to be out with another silly topic, another silly video for you soon. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.